Hello beautiful people, how's it going? I'm back with another video. I'm not gonna smile for the audience because I'm not really feeling it today. Michael Gambon passed away. Great legendary actor, mostly known for his role as Albus Dumbledore, and I wanted to talk about him today. I'm sorry that this video is late. I was in class yesterday when I found out the news. It was a horrible day. This week in general has been poo-poo, and so I didn't need this, but again, this is the second time this year that we've lost someone who deeply impacted me as a child growing up, and therefore I took their impact with me. And again, we lost Hagrid in January, and now we have Michael Gambon. And I wanted to speak about his greatness in a way that I feel people don't necessarily realize. In 2002, when the late, great Richard Harris passed away, everybody, apparently, I was only 2 years old, but everybody was curious to see how they were going to handle Dumbledore moving forward because of Richard Harris's great performance as Dumbledore. His voice, his charm, it was so perfect. And they cast Michael Gambon, and what he did with that role was not imitate what Richard Harris was doing. He gave Dumbledore his own interpretation while still being faithful to the books that I hold so dearly to my heart and means so much to me. And I always looked at Dumbledore like this wise old grandfather that I took a lot of inspiration from, especially down to how hilarious he was as a character while also being so wise and so clever. And yes, a lot of that is due to J.K. Rowling's extraordinary work. I'm never gonna not praise her when it comes to her books. But it's also down to how Michael Gambon and his greatness just carried that role and gave it something so special. There was a vulnerability that Michael Gambon gave to Dumbledore that I personally always felt that Richard Harris could not, because he was a very different kind of Dumbledore. Richard Harris's Dumbledore was someone who was so wise that it made him somewhat firm, whereas Michael Gambon's Dumbledore wore his heart on his sleeve. And I loved that about him. I loved it so much. I will never forgive David Yates for cutting out that scene from Half-Blood Prince where they're in the cave and Hagrid and Harry tells Dumbledore not to be afraid, and Dumbledore says, "I'm not afraid, Harry, I'm with you." What was David Yates doing? Oh goodness, I like him as a director, but he's not the greatest of all time, clearly. I really was impacted by Michael Gambon growing up, and yesterday was a huge loss for myself and for anybody who was impacted by his performance or those films. And a lot of people I spoke to yesterday in class while this was happening said that they felt it was a loss too, because when they think of Harry Potter, they immediately go to Dumbledore, which I think is really telling, because Dumbledore is never the main character. He never was, and that wasn't his purpose. But because of how iconic he was due to Richard Harris and Michael Gambon's performances, he elevated it, and he made himself the icon. And that just goes to show you an actor who's already so famous. He's a BAFTA winner. He's apparently won 4 BAFTAs, which I never knew about. I'm not sure if I've seen him in a lot of other roles outside of Harry Potter, but now I would like to. And now I will make that a duty of mine to honor his legacy. I am just kind of upset. I haven't been able to process the information because, again, this happened yesterday and this entire week has just been upside down for me. And I feel very confused. But again, apparently he died of pneumonia and his family was with him, so that's really great. And he had a wonderful career. I don't really know much about him as a person other than the fact that he hates doing interviews and he was always very honest about his role as Dumbledore. Apparently he didn't even read the books, which I think is kind of hilarious due to how amazing his role honored those books. There are so many quotes that came out of that man's mouth that I think of to this day that get me through tough times to this day. And I will use one right now because I feel that that's what we need, and it's the reminder that that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. That wasn't in the books, by the way. Wasn't in the books. And I don't know if that's Alfonso or Michael Gambon ad-libbing. Whoever did it, thank you so much, because we need that right now. When I was 13, I made a mural of that quote and I hung it up on my wall, and I got severely bullied because I forgot that happiness had 2 S's at the end. And I needed that quote more than ever. And the thing that got me out of feeling bad that everybody at school was making fun of me was the message that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. And then of course it's happening inside your head, Harry, but why should that mean that it's not real? And oh my goodness, it's a celebration of him, because when Harry asks, where will the train take me? And it's such a great performance because he turns around, looks at Harry and goes, on. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's really wonderful. I've been in a Star Wars phase for 2 years now, and people always love to joke and say, I can't believe you're so into Star Wars now. Harry Potter was your life. One isn't going to take the other. And Star Wars will never reach the depth that J.K. Rowling managed to reach with those books. Harry Potter was nuanced and deep. Star Wars isn't deep to me. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun, and I love it so much. But a hit like this will always get to me because I grew up seeing these people's faces every single day of my life. Every single day of my life for a good 8 years was just all that. And I love these people so much. And Alan Rickman's gone, Michael Gambon's gone, Richard Harris is gone. Everything is just getting too much. And we lost Snape, we lost Hagrid, we lost Narcissa, we lost both Dumbledores. May Allah protect Maggie Smith. My goodness, I walked into class yesterday and my friend looks at me, he goes, hey, are you okay? And I ask why, and then he says Dumbledore died, and I said Michael Gambon has not passed away. I would have heard about it. And I guess I've just been so caught up with university that I just didn't check Twitter. Dumbledore was #1 worldwide trending yesterday. And again, I feel very proud of that, because every single fan has ownership in this franchise. We all collectively do. And the reason for that is because of how much it has impacted us. I feel so bad for the people at HBO who are making this TV show, because you are not going to find someone better than Alan Rickman to be Snape. Unless it's Adam Driver, Kylo Ren. And again, no one will ever take that spot that Alan Rickman left in my heart. I was at a Chili's when I found out. This was 2013. I still remember that day. I love you all so much. I hope we can take this opportunity to honor Michael Gambon and be happy with all that he accomplished, because he was an award winner outside of Harry Potter. The guy was a legend when they cast him. And also, well done to the casting department, because you had real legends on the set of Harry Potter, and that's something I can always use to my advantage when I'm debating the best franchise in the world. And that's never going to change, no matter what other franchises I fall in love with and grow to love. It's not going to beat the one that taught me a lot about who I want to be. And again, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. And because I've been having a bit of a rough week, I also wanted to say to you guys, things don't last forever. I love you all so much, so much. And I hope to see you guys next time with not bad news. I hope. I love you all so much. Bye, guys. Man.